Good afternoon and welcome to the November 21st, 2022 Board of Public Works and Safety. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Jim Barrett.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor.
My name is Lisa Bailey. I'm the pastor at Reflection Church of the Nazarene. I'd like to pray. Lord, thank you for this day. What a wonderful opportunity it is to be able to meet and discuss and plan for this great city. God, I pray today for a spirit of unity and, Lord, for everyone that's serving, Lord, that they would come together and look at what is the best for the good of the all, for the city. God, I thank you for the public servants that are here, and I pray, Lord, that you would bless their hearts, that you would bless this meeting. In your precious name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone, and please remind you to turn your cell phone ringers off. We will begin with roll call.
Brian Dobb.
Present.
Becky Gibson.
Here.
Diana Phillips. Present. Jim Barrett.
Here.
Okay, everyone has the minutes from the November 7th, 2022 regular meeting. Are there any additions and corrections to those?
Motion to accept.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I'm going to move on down to some new business. We'll start with Mr. Conrad from North Mechanical Services, requesting permission to block off 20th Street by the middle school to set HVAC system. Let's come up here, sir.
So, we need to set a crane up on 20th Street. I just need permission and see what you guys require to make that happen.
What's the date?
We're gonna go for December 22nd. The kids should be out of school.
What was the time all day?
Crane will probably be there 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm guessing 4 hours. It'll take longer to set up and tear down than it will to do the work, so,
So you will put 1 o'clock to be safe.
yeah.
You doing street control, barricades?
We can. That was one of the questions that I had, was if we needed to hire a police department or if we can take care of that.
You have street barricades you can put up?
I can get some.
Street barricades, Brad, or anything else that we need with street barricades? Just so it's closed off for temporary, 4 hours.
You need the whole street from Indiana to Grand? Is that what you're looking at?
Yes.
I don't know any reason why we couldn't go over and help them with that.
We would have to, have you talked to the hospital?
No.
We'd have to talk to the hospital and make sure they know, because their entrances come off of that as well. But they can access it from either side, so still need to talk to them that they understand what's happening that day.
All right.
So they don't have people pulling out, because you might have to block their entrance off with something, just cones or something, so they don't come out with a crane.
Okay.
I think there's 2, isn't that correct? I think there's 2 entrances to the hospital off that street, so. Anybody have any other questions?
Make a motion to accept Mr. Conrad's request.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you much, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have approval agreement with Butler Fairman Seufert for assistance with the CCMG application. This is the community crossing grant where they go through and help us. We designate the areas, they kind of measure things, see what the estimated costs are. They also work with the bid process, all that good stuff with the community crossing, which is what we use for paving.
I move to approve the agreement.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item C, approval resolutions 2022-43 through 2022-45, transfers. Rosemary.
Resolution 2022-43 is a transfer within the EMS budget, moving $27,680 from fringe benefits to holiday pay. Resolution 2022-44 is a transfer within the EMS budget, moving $1,250 from other contractual services to refunds. Resolution 2022-45 is a resolution to transfer $16,500 within the MBH budget, moving it from other materials to minor equipment.
Questions?
Make a motion to approve Rosemary's request.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Items D, E, and F. So transfer station, wrong word. So items D, E, and F can all go together. This is during the negotiations, we had already originally agreed to a 1.5% increase over so many years. With this year's, we was able to go up to 3%, so we bumped them up to 3% like everyone else. But we wanted to reflect that in the contract, so that's what this is.
I want to take all three of those together.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Make a motion to approve the three resolutions.
Second.
I have a motion to approve a resolution 2022-46, 47, and 48. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Approval of resolutions 2022-49 through 52, transfers. Rosemary.
Resolution 2022-49 is a transfer within the landfill budget, moving $5,000 from the house hazardous waste into other contractual services. Resolution 2022-50 is a resolution to transfer within the NVH department, moving $400 from telephone to water and sewer. Resolution 2022-51 is a resolution to move within the park budget, moving $300 from the superintendent to camp counselor. Resolution 2022-52 is a resolution to move within the parks department, airport department, sorry, moving $2,000 from professional services into insurance.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. On down to this one. Item H, it's approval of agreement with Butler Fairman Seufert to provide assistance on a federal aid grant. This one here, this has been one we've been working on for a long time, but the federal government come out with a grant and they didn't give us a whole lot of time to do this. So actually, they only gave us a couple of weeks, so I don't understand why they do that to us, but they did. But what we're looking to do is, I've communicated with the state, I don't know how many times, trying to get something done with the truck route, moving it to a business truck route on Western Avenue. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were saying something. The only way they would do that is to remove the State Route 1 and move it, which they still didn't even want to do that, but I didn't want to do that because our businesses have located on that road because it is a state route. I just wanted to move the trucks off to Western and vehicles, traffic, State Road 1. That's not something they will entertain. They gave us some solutions, so they'll provide some signage and stuff, but work with some traffic lights, but other than that, we have to maintain it to their standards. I have asked detailed questions on what does that mean? Because if we go to redo anything on that road, are we going to have to build it to a state road standard, which could be very, very expensive. So when this federal aid grant came out, this doesn't mean we're going to do the project. It means we do want to apply for the project, but there are certain engineering things that have to be done in order to get the application process out. We were just kind of running around long numbers, and I think the number we came up with, just because this project would be a 6-year build, is that correct? We already know that from last year to this year, we could see a 40% increase in paving materials, so who knows what it looks like in 6 years. We were guessing anywhere between $8 to $10 million to do it correctly. So at a 20% match, that's $2 million. So we're thinking, my mindset says, okay, if it's going to cost $8 to $10 million, that's a lot of money for the city. That's not even feasible. $2 million technically is still going to be a challenge. But there are some things that we're trying to do, which will happen tonight at City Council meeting, that could possibly help pay for projects like this, and that is with our TIF area. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do, but if we can go ahead and do the permit process, it costs us $4,000.
$4,000.
And then if we can get approved, then that gives us time to find a way to raise the $2 million to do the project. And to me, getting Western Avenue is a huge step in the process. It helps our current industrial park down there now with attraction to that, and it makes Western Avenue a nice road that all the truck traffic can go down to alleviate the trestle. But without a grant like this, it's not something we could even entertain. So that's what we're asking to spend the $4,000 to see, get to engineering so we can at least try to approve for the grant. And if we get the grant, that brings a whole other problem, but we're trying to put things in place now to help pay for stuff like that. I know that was a ton of information in a short amount of time, but they didn't give us a whole lot of time to do this. So, questions on that?
So we're not committing to anything, this is just
No.
yes.
We can back out, say, even if we get the grant, and we can back out, which is usually not a good thing to do. But if we realize that something happens and we cannot come up with $2 million, then we can still back out. But you don't know until you try. To me, it was worth spending the money to do the investigative side and to do this. Because there's some very specific things that had to be done through an engineering firm, outside consultants, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Motion to approve the
Second.
request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item I, we have approval agreement with Stone Municipal. So everything Adam's been doing for the city has just been fantastic. I did ask him to sit down. I said, before we reevaluate next year, you can see it's more. I said, because one of the things I appreciate about Adam was when he gave us the first estimate and he dove into it, he realized quickly that it was going to take a lot more than what he estimated. He never said a word. He just did it. And he never came back. I actually brought it up to him. I said, Adam, I think you're spending more time than what you figured. He said, yes, but part of it is building the model as well. But he's actually working with the RDC now. He's helped with Redevelopment Commission. We did some tax abatement work with EDG, and he gets it. He's phenomenal, and he has saved us a ton of headaches on the front side by having it done correctly. The budget and the model has been built. He's now updating it. I know we're going to start getting a lot more information. It took him a long time to build that budget. He's phenomenal, and I want to continue that relationship. He's actually doing a lot more for the city now than what we even talked to him about. So I never once mentioned to him about Redevelopment Commission, but that's his expertise. So he's working on this right now with the software package. He has a lot of experience in software. He worked with the utilities on software, did a phenomenal job with the utilities. So we're trying to get a software package for the entire city. Just so you know, that is extremely frustrating for me because I can't find what I'm looking for, and that is really helping us guide us through that process. So I would like to ask the Board of Works to approve this. It is budgeted in the budget. We asked him to build out the budget for next year, so that is there. But he is a tremendous value-added asset to our community.
Motion to approve the mayor's request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Right in front of your desk, Brad, before you come up, I've got one more thing, sorry. We need to approve Ling Restoration for painting of City Hall. What we did was, when the sidewalks went in, we had pilasters on the doors, and the windows had shutters, and this is one of the frustrating things about state contracts. I went out there and said, what are you guys gonna do with that, because your concrete's higher? They go, we'll just pour over it. I go, oh no, that's not happening. So we went out and took the shutters off of the pilasters. They were foam backing. We couldn't get some of the screws out, and they actually, one of them cracked, and the other one, I forget what happened to it, but one's broke completely. And the building has it needed pressure wash, which we're getting a pressure washer bought so we can do that, but the color of the building just drove me nuts with those shutters and everything. So we have beautiful decorations above each window and above the doors. I had a meeting down in Madison. I drove through their historic district, and I saw a building. It had the same pilaster, same everything, and it was a beautiful color. I was like, man, that just pops. So I sit down with the Historic Preservation Committee and said, hey, I'd like to put not shutters back, but pilasters from the top of the windows all the way down the doors, and then paint the entire building like a light gray color. But I wanted their approval for any color, because I know it's in the district, even though this building is not a historical aspect, we want to maintain the right color schemes, what they're asking. They approved unanimously. Yes, we're saving the murals on both sides. They're not going to paint over those. But it's going to have a really nice, clean, fresh look to it. We're also trying to encourage our downtown to start taking pride in ourselves and cleaning up our downtown. And what better way to do that than to set the example? So I was trying to find ways to paint the building. I made a presentation to UEA, and it was unanimously passed to pay for the painting, the project. So the pilasters we paid for out of my budget, and then the UEA is wanting to pay for the paint and everything on the building. So we just need approval to approve the UEA's, I guess it'd be their contract with, because it goes to the UEA.
It's
or
a
approval.
grant. It's a special exception grant.
Yeah.
And I will say that the members, it was unanimous, the members that were affiliated, there are 2 city council members on that, and we abstained from the voting on that, but it was unanimous with the other members that were there.
Basically, I need approval to approve the grant from the UEA to paint the
I'll
city
abstain
off.
from that also.
You wanted to go with Ling Restoration on that?
We asked 5 people, I think. One of them did not turn a bid in, the other one of them did not do it correctly. Then we had the others, but he was the best price on all of them.
The grant was for $15,000.
I make a motion to approve mayor's request.
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Both of you had to abstain, I forgot about that. So, thank you. Okay, move on down to department matters. Mr. Clifford.
Got a few things to talk about. I'll try to get through them as quick as I can. Last meeting, I spoke to you about mowers, and in the confusion, Rosemary realized I never said that I wanted to buy 2. So we had the money for 2 set aside, but I didn't ask for 2. So, and you had asked me in the meeting about the rear discharge inside, and when I called and checked, the side discharge was $200 more a piece. So the total quote for 2 mowers from Markers Wally World is $21,332
For both.
for 2. Yep.
Questions?
Motion to approve Brad's request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Next, and this is something that Rosemary and I talked about, where we would pay for it again. I had got a quote, when we did the sidewalk project, all the wayfinding signs, does everybody know what those are? The ones that says museum that way, city hall that way. We took all those down, and the 4 that were still up were not in very good, they weren't installed very well, so I got Kane to come over and look at them and see about putting all those signs in properly so that they stand up straight and last for a while. And the price is, if you see the quote, there's some variables there. My guess is it'll cost about $12,000. It could run just a little bit more than that, depending, in the installation process, they might scratch them up a little bit and need to repaint them some, so it could run a little bit over 12, but we think 12,000-ish. So is that something you want to do?
Wasn't there a group that put those in together?
The street department did it. The street department put them in. I think Kane was going to install them, and I think Mayor Gordon decided we would install them, but they're just loose, and if you
Didn't
look
we
at the one,
receive them based on a grant through the Historic Society?
I'm not sure about that. Seems like,
I
yeah,
think
or
it was-
tourism or somebody
I
maybe.
think there was a grant for them, but I don't remember any of
Yeah,
that.
I'm pretty sure there was.
And they gotta do a lot of work on them, because some of the bottoms were cut off for some reason, don't know why. So they gotta do a lot of work to get them, so that's why they would never stay put.
Yeah. This seems like a lot of money probably, but they'll be in for the duration, I think, and look nice.
Straight up, down,
Not leaning.
Right.
Or spinning.
completely 90-degree.
Yeah.
And the
Arrows
signs
facing the right way.
can be changed if they need to be. They're interchangeable. I mean, if something happens to change or needs to be added,
I would
can that happen?
imagine.
Okay.
I'd say.
Whose budget this coming out of?
I can't remember what we decided.
Straight or MVH.
Somewhere in the street.
So it's in the budget? I'll make a motion to approve Roger's request.
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Next, there's a couple of things going on with these quotes about the plow and salt boxes. So, first, We had a small salt box at the utilities that was just a little bit too small for what we need it for, but it's just about right for what the street department might use on the UTV, doing the downtown sidewalks and so forth. So we were gonna, I'll come back to you and do this formally at some point, but I wanted to try it out first and make sure it works out. But we'll probably donate that over to the street department with your permission later. But we need to buy a bigger salt box for the utility truck that does the wastewater plant and the water plant and all the hills at the lift stations. And the price for that salt box would be, the cheaper price on salt boxes in these quotes is from Truck Pro. And they're $6,900 a piece. So right now, first, like, will you give me permission to buy a salt box for the utilities for $6,937?
Does it go in the back of the pickup truck?
Yes. And it holds, I forget how many ton, couple ton?
It's one you load with like a backhoe and stuff.
Yeah. The one we had before only held 4 bags. So this one, you could actually load it up with a backhoe and put a pretty substantial amount. It probably says in that quote how big they are. 3 cubic yards.
You got a truck what truck you plan on putting in?
We have a truck with a plow on it. I'll be talking to you. I'll go ahead and tell you about the plow next. So in the fire that I'm gonna show you a few pictures of and describe here in a little bit, our plow at the utilities was burned up. And that plow will be reimbursed by insurance once we buy it. But I need to go ahead and get it bought because it's snowy season, so need to get on it. So that's the 2 utility issues in these quotes. The street is a want. We just want to add a plow and a salt box. We have a couple, either year before last or last year, we bought a flatbed pickup truck, and we haven't had a plow or a salt box for that. And with a little extra money we had in other materials, we have the money. We'd like to go ahead and get those. So in the quotes, the cheaper quotes for plows is at Who's your battery?
And this is for street. Let's go ahead and, let's settle on the salt box for utilities.
Okay.
Because I can't vote on one and the other and
Okay.
mix and match.
And you need a permission to purchase
So
the salt
moved.
spreader.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And then would be a plow for the utilities at a cost of $8,900 and a little change, $8,948, $217. You can see those numbers. $625 to install it. They gave me a total quote, and I didn't separate the amounts. If you want me to add them up real quick here, I will. It's about $9,800 total installed.
So you need permission for the, that's gonna be all reimbursed through insurance?
Yeah, insurance. They said they would pay 70% up front, and then when we show them a receipt, they'll give us the other 30.
That's the utility plow?
Yes.
You need permission for utilities to purchase their plow?
So
And have it
moved.
sold. Have a motion?
So,
And a second, all in favor signify by saying, I heard you, sorry.
sorry.
I have a motion and a second, so all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. I'm a drummer, but I can't hear that today.
Hey Brad, along those notes, did you get a chance to look at that link that I sent you? For that stand-up one?
I didn't see it. Never did see it.
We talked on the phone.
I didn't see it. We'll have to talk about it after, and I'll look at it. Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay.
He saw a piece of equipment that was something like that. Remember that piece of equipment we looked at that was multi-purposed? He knows somebody that has a stand-up unit that sort of does all those same things. So
You could put a brush on it, you could put blowers on it. Actually, Gulf's Automotive has it.
Yeah, I saw that, they had a snowplow in
Yeah,
there.
the thing crawls right up the steps, so, it's got
Goes up steps.
It crawls up steps. It's got a brine solution tank on it to where you could spray, 22 gallons of brine on it. The flashing lights, you can get a cab control on it. I just thought if we're gonna actually spend more money on plows and salt spreaders and everything else, this is a viable option, because I don't know what they are now, but for what it paid, would a lot less than what that was.
Have to look at them.
Especially if we're gonna be doing-
I've priced them, their Boss makes them, and
Boss makes them, but they'd be great for the street department, or for the street, or the sidewalks. I think it'd be a better viable option than what we're doing now. When you get a chance, take a look at it or whatever.
did you send it to me too?
No, I didn't. I talked to Brad about it. He said he was gonna get with you on it.
Sorry, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Next, a plow for the street department at a cost of about $9,800 installed, and a salt box for the street department at a cost of $69.37.
That's for flatbed dually, right?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Next is, I spoke to all of you last week. I had a chance to buy some meter bodies from Waller Meters. They were on their very last day of being a distributor for Badger. We had a chance to buy these bodies at between $12 and $15 a piece, less than we would normally pay. And if you guys remember, we've been buying 500 of these a year to changing out from the old meters to newer ones. So we would have been asking you to make this purchase later. If you decide not to approve it, we can send the stuff back. But I had to have it shipped on Monday of last week to have a chance to buy them. So I spoke to all of you and everybody seemed in favor of it. So I'm asking you to approve the purchase of 676 meter bodies and 43 whole meters from Walters.
Make a motion to approve Brad's request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Got my pictures ready there, fellas? This is the fire at the wastewater plant. I was going to show you these last week and we forgot. That lean-to building caught on fire when an asphalt contractor was down there sort of sealing up the seams on the asphalt cut. Caught that little lean-to on fire. You can see then the roof of the main building caught on fire. And I've been dealing with a lot of issues trying to, it's another person's insurance. Our insurance is working with them to make sure that we're protected. I would guess from the numbers we're talking about, it's probably a $150,000 claim altogether when it's said and done, maybe more. That's an air compressor that was burnt in the fire. We had a portable generator, a portable welder, and turns out that our insurance will cover all those things. Even though they were older, it'll cover the replacement cost at 100%. So I just kind of wanted to let you know, when I was talking about the plow earlier, I don't know if the plow was in any of those pictures, but it was in that little lean-to building being stored, and it's completely burned up. So we're working through the process of settling this claim, and I'll be telling you more about that later. They act like maybe a month from now we'll have it all figured out, so that's that. Since you've got it right there, I'll tell you about that cemetery. Did we show that picture last week?
No.
We just had some repairs done to the cemetery fence. It was the gate, those gates were all leaning, were very dangerous. They're pretty narrow when you pull in there, so people hit them all the time. So we had Steve Lane come in and he welded all that back and fixed it. Somebody had run into that sign with a big boom or something, probably our own people if I was guessing. And it was bent terrible, and he fixed it and straightened it out. So he did us a really good job over there for a pretty reasonable price, getting that all safe. The gates will never, it would take a lot more to get those where they open and close. They're pretty much fixed open, but I'll just show you. These are a couple of our new people. Go back to that other one with the trash truck. There's not much of a trash truck in that picture, but that's our brand new trash truck we just got last week. There's our two newest drivers in the picture standing with it, Doug Gill on the left and Derek Holly on the right. Doug is just got out on his own in the trash truck, and the other guy will be training over the winter when it's too cold to do too much else. So this is our new guy at the utilities that we hired, Forrest Ram. He's worked, he's got a lot of experience on street work and stuff. He's been here about 3 weeks. Then I've got another guy fixed to hire at the street department because today, well, matter of fact, at noon was Greg Loman's last. He just finished up. So here in a couple weeks, we'll bring a new guy on. I can't tell you who it is yet because he's still working at his other place, and I'm not sure that he's given him his notice yet. So I'll tell you about him at the next meeting. The last thing I wanted to tell you about is Smalley's. We've been working through those issues, and the mayor's been in on some of the meetings. The biggest thing that's been holding us up there, we decided that the safe play was to get a separate IDEM dewatering permit, taking into account the chemicals at Smalley's. So we've been going through the process of sampling the groundwater over there, and IDEM is working with us to set limits that if we start pumping water that has certain limits of contaminants in it, that we're going to install a extraction well over on Smalley's that will extract those chemicals and send them to the wastewater plant to be treated. So we've been basically doing our due diligence to make sure that we do this in a safe way and as least harmful. And we don't want to end up where we pull those chemicals over onto the wastewater plant or the transfer station. So I think we have a pretty good plan, and we expect to get an IDEM permit probably the week after Thanksgiving. And then we have to do a drawdown test that will tell us the transmissivity of the groundwater and the permeability of the groundwater. I used those pretty good. I've been looking forward to using those.
Practicing that one.
Wow.
Make sure I didn't screw them up. I'll tell you next week what they mean. But anyway, we're going to do a drawdown test that tells how quick those chemicals might be pulled to the extraction well. And so I think we have geologists, all kinds of scientists. We have groundwater experts. We have engineers all over this and items. So I feel comfortable that we're going to do this in a safe way. So I'm going to go to the park board meeting next week and ask them to go ahead and close the park and keep it closed until we get done dewatering. We're going to have these wells over there that just nobody needs to be in there till we get. One last issue that we've been working on over there is the lake. It's very likely that we empty Smalley's Lake. And so working with Andrea at the Soil and Water District, working with the DNR, we thought maybe they would come take the fish and take them somewhere else, but they have to do a whole bunch of testing to the fish because of the situation over there before they would take them, and they're just not, it's not going to happen. So we're likely to empty the lake. We're likely to not have live fish in there when we get finished. And so we've also been coming up with a plan of what we would do with those fish, which involves, what'd she say, composting and some other things that would, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, they would give their lives for a good, useful purpose. But I want to put it out there because, there's going to be people that find out about this, and it just should be said ahead of time. It's just something that we have to do, and none of us like it. And hopefully, I don't know how many fish are in there. And there you go. I haven't really got anything else to say that I can say about it. Does anybody have any problem with me asking the park board to close the park over there while we?
Do you know how long it'll be, approximately?
They expect it'll take 6 months of dewatering to get the work done that has to be down at that level. They're dewatering to about 65 feet. I think in 6 months they'll be there if nothing crazy happens.
Start approximately when?
Well, we could start dewatering about, I would say December 10th if everything goes right.
So it should be back pretty much when the summer begins.
It would probably have to open a couple of months later than normal, but I wouldn't think it would be closed for the whole summer. But
Depends what kind of water we have.
True. Okay.
that going to affect any city wells?
No. There's hardly any wells. Most of those houses from Smalley's back are all on city water. As far as I know, all of them are, and I think we checked that. So the only wells that could be affected would be further south, but our geologist says that the water table should be affected to the north of the project and not the south so much.
Are they
Because
looking into that
because
fact?
the aquifer flows towards the river from the north. So they think that groundwater will be affected a lot less to the south of us than it would be to the north.
They look at the fact of what they're going to do to the people on the south of the Smalley's Lake? I mean, or a certain radius or whatever that might drain their wells? Because that's all country.
We don't think that it will. But, I mean, some of this is you see what happens as you go, but it hasn't been I've raised those issues and I haven't got any alarming answers.
There's
I
one
mean-
guy who understands our aquifer really well,
Yeah.
and he wasn't concerned about it.
I'm saying that's usually the extent of most people's wells is 65 feet. So we drain them, we could potentially look at collapsed wells, people in the country, or in the county or whatever. I mean, do we have a,
They have looked at all this. I mean, I don't have the exact answers for all of it right here, but I can look into it and talk about it more. Or get somebody here that can talk about it, but it's
Well,
sort of a Tim Northam question. He's our
He's the
aquifer.
expert. He
you know,
understands.
and the thing of it is, I mean, you know, we have to do it.
I understand
We've
that.
got X million dollars project here that we've already approved, so it has to be done. So, you know, that's the way I look at it.
I see that too, but I also see the people that live out there, if they're going to be affected by the wells, they're going to want to know, they don't really care what we need to do. They're going to be concerned that they're just out of water now.
You're right.
Could be out of water for
Well,
6 months.
that's true, but I mean, it's not like something we can postpone or whatever. We have to do it.
I understand that, but I'm saying that a lot of it's communication too. If we email them or, send registered letters out to the ones that might be affected, we don't know if the radius is going to be 3
They
miles,
have.
5 miles.
They have, in the permitting process, they've sent letters. The DNR
Everyone.
requires all that. There's those people surrounding us in a close proximity have been notified.
And we've also got, we have a water main that runs down through there, 121, right? All the way down to the trailer court, my understanding. Wells Trailer Court, we put that in several years ago.
There's a farmhouse there or two that are on wells, but, I mean, worst case scenario, I'm just talking off the cuff. We have water to those places. Worst case scenario, if something happened, we do have a way to get water to them. Anything else? If that was it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Moving on to the department reports. Scott is sick. Nate, you going to do this, sir? There you are.
Brad kept tricking me. Every time I heard next, I started looking at So, how's everyone today?
Good.
Who are you?
All right, for the month of October, we got $7,068.93 in overtime, $1,864.89 is FLSA, $5,204.04 is manpower shortage. Fuel usage for October, we used 350.44 gallons, which came to $1,762.43. Had 150 incidents in the month of October. 84% of those were EMS and 16% fire. So far, that brings us to a total of 1,649 runs since January 1 to October 31st. October's training, we did a lot of hose testing in the month of October. Training hours are might be a little bit down. So we had 56 hours of instructed training hours. And then we got 13 inspections. Any questions?
Sorry, I went through that kind of quick. You good?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too.
Chris Sabato, are you up first?
Hello.
Hello.
Report for utilities for the month of October. I don't have the numbers for revenue and disbursements. We're still having problems, some small issues with our new software. But overall, the transition's been very well, just some financial stuff. So hopefully next report I'll have updated numbers for October and November. Overtime was $4,845. 1,082 was scheduled, and 2,200 of that was the water plant. Attached is the water sewer reports. Miscellaneous for the month of October. Brad, Aaron, myself attended the Indiana Alliance Conference in Fort Wayne on October 25th, 26th, and 27th. Like I said, our software is going pretty well. We still have a tech on site helping us out. We replaced a pump at Gray Road Lift Station for $9,400, and also replaced and moved the old Walmart lift station. It's part of our lift station long-term maintenance plan. We try to pick out 1 or 2 lift stations every year to revamp, upgrade, or replace, and that was our big one this year. The cost right now is around $80,000 for that whole project. But it's pretty much a brand new lift station now. Any questions?
Thank you.
On the street department report, I'll tell you about a few of the things out of the ordinary that they did. We worked on crack sealing quite a bit in October. We did the city parking lot, the EMS lot, courthouse parking lot, and we started working on Western Avenue till we ran out of good weather, warm weather. We've got some of the painting, street painting that we needed to get done. I had them focus on the area around the Spartan Ball. It was pretty bad shape before the big crowds started showing up over there. We have been tub grinding quite a bit at the compost site, and they're getting a little bit caught up. I showed you the new trash, a little piece of the new trash truck, but everything's working out nice having it. It's been extremely nice. I'll be talking to you pretty soon about, I'm trying to get an agreement together with Best Equipment. They're going to come at least twice a year, maybe 4 times a year, and inspect our trucks and give hints and tips about, okay, maybe you need to grease this area a little better. It'll be sort of oversight on our mechanics to make sure that we maintain that $600,000 investment in a proper way. We have been working on leaf collection. I'm not sure where they're at today. I'll be updating that on Facebook a little bit later this afternoon. We will be closing the compost site here shortly, so if you got leaves or limbs, let's get those down there. We're going to we usually close up in the winter. We'll open if there are weather events or probably at Christmas tree time to deposit those. We'll open for a little bit, but mainly we're going to close so that they can get that mulch pile caught up in the grinding. We've worked a lot on getting the downtown ready, working on the Christmas lights. I know they've been hanging banners, and between the utility guys and the street department guys, they pretty much built that winter garden over there and under Andrea's direction. It looks pretty nice. If any of you seen the fire pits, and most of that stuff we use is repurposed old utility junk or some railroad ties that they got the railroad to loan us. So on the transfer station report, it looks like we had about 800 tons that we sent to the landfill, and about half of that came from the transfer station, the other half from the trash truck. The fees collected at the transfer station were $19,994. Any questions?
Yeah, what's your holiday schedule for the transfer station? Are you closed Friday and Saturday, or are you just closed Thursday, or what?
They're closed on Christmas, and we have, so
Also closed on
Thanksgiving and Christmas are the only two holidays that we close, so they'll be closed on Thanksgiving Day, and then Thursday's trash route will be picked up on Friday, and Friday's on Saturday. Compost site will be closed on Saturday for that.
Okay. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Bowles.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How was the fishing in Canada?
What's that?
How was the fishing in Canada?
Oh, we'll talk. Good time. All right. First item of business, I want to present letters of accommodation to a couple different people. You guys have the letters in here, however, I'd like to read a portion of it so you guys totally understand what the situation was. On November 6, 2022, at approximately 4 a.m., Lieutenant Kevin Perry responded to the 100 block of East Fish Street in reference to an unknown situation in regards to dispatch hearing a gunshot outside the building. Upon arrival, Lieutenant Perry located a male subject who had suffered a gunshot wound to the neck, and without hesitation, Lieutenant Perry provided medical aid and bleeding control to the victim. Due to the significant amount of blood loss and severity of injury to the victim, it was determined to fly the victim to a trauma center. It is my belief that without the quick intervention and aid rendered by Lieutenant Perry, the victim could have sustained more significant damage or even succumbed to his injuries. Lieutenant Perry applied his knowledge and training in life-saving first aid, and as a result, Mr. Wilson is expected to make a full recovery. So today, I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Perry with the Life-Saving Commendation Award. It was a hectic night that night. If anybody knew, we were out all night on several other calls, and this call came in, and Lieutenant Perry, unbeknownst to the situation at hand, still got into the scene to render aid, not knowing any other danger around in the area, and went directly to the subject at that point. So at this time, I want to give our life-saving award to Lieutenant Perry for a job well done and in his training, along with a plaque.
Good job, Kevin.
Well done.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, well done.
Go ahead, come on up here. All right, on the same evening, one of our dispatchers who was working at the time acted absolutely professional and without hesitation got the emergency services rolling prior to any 911 calls. She noticed that, obviously, you have the letters of, she heard some suspicious sounds, which was probably gunshots, observed the cameras, and noticed that there's commotion out front, and immediately summoned us and other emergency services to the scene prior to any calls. So that's what, without her help in this, it's the same situation. I think that subject would have a lesser chance of surviving his injuries. So I want to also recognize Carlina Griffith with a plaque for her job well done. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Hang on over here a second. And I just want to reiterate also that our community ought to be proud of our dispatchers and our fire department, EMS, and our police officers, especially in my case, just to put everything aside and handle the situation at hand, no matter what it is. And we got very professional emergency services here in Connersville, so.
That was a long weekend too. I know.
Long weekend.
Kevin doesn't want me to say this, but I got there early. What morning was that? Sunday morning?
Sunday morning.
And he was sitting outside. He got out to talk to me. You could see the exhaustion on his face.
Yeah.
He was spent. And he
I
was
mean, I think we're
still at it.
We were there for a total of around 12 hours on a scene, so it was a long evening, so. All right, so the department matters. Everybody's got a copy of our report. Our overtime's at roughly $6,000. I attribute some of that because we have a part-timer picking up some of those on scheduled overtime, like our contract says, so I anticipated it to be higher than it was, and I was pleasantly surprised. Our gallons of fuel is at 1,653 for the month of October. Any questions on any of those items? Any questions on our incident for October, our totals? Everybody has a copy of that. There's too many to go into on those incidents. No questions? All right, real quick, on our training, our canines had their recert training, so they're good for the year. They both got recert. We are finishing up with our yearly mandated topics, which has to be done by the end of December. So, and I'm pretty sure we're about done with everybody there. And that includes everything is up to firearms, EVOC and defensive tactic, everything yearly that we have to accomplish. We should be done with that. Also, on December 16th, we get our 3 officers from the academy back, so that'll be great. December 16th, they're back to work on that following Monday, so I'm excited about that. I can't wait to get them. We do have one guy going first week of January, but it's better than 3. So, any questions?
How's the new guy working out? That's from Gunner.
It seems to be working out good. I mean, I'm staying on top, talking to the shift supervisors that are working with him, and aside from our process, he seems to be picking it up pretty good. But, you know, his on-road demeanor and whatnot appears to be okay, so.
Pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chief.
Director Pause.
Hello.
Hello.
For the month of October, we had 11 hours, 25 minutes of meeting production, 15 hours, 43 minutes of original production. There's a couple things I wanted to point out. We will be starting back with production on the Purdue Extension Kitchen cooking show. We're going to start taping this week, probably start airing next week, so we'll be watching for that. And then also, if you did not get a chance to watch the girls basketball game versus Anderson, do yourself a favor and go watch that game. We've got it online. We'll be playing it again on Channel 3, and it's the most spectacular thing I've seen in a very long time. So,
I agree.
any questions?
You can also get that on YouTube.
Yep. Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
John.
Chief Harden.
Good afternoon. Everyone should have a copy of my monthly report for October. We had a total of 342 calls for service. That, so far this year, that's 3,186. You have a staff report there on who I've got off. Had a 179 gallons diesel fuel, 410 gallons gasoline, 4 hours of special event coverage for football games. Then we had some touch of trucks and trick-or-treating events that we attended. Several months ago, I asked you to approve a contract with Stryker Medical to do preventative maintenance our cots and our stair chairs. They were there the month of October and went through all of our equipment. I mean, they go through the bearings, they go through the electrical, they go through the hydraulics, they go through all of it. They make sure everything is tightened to spec and all of that. They found several small issues, I think 5 or 6 small issues that they then fix while they're there. That's all covered under the agreement, bearings or something like that. Basically, this will keep us from going down something that we wouldn't catch. That this is what they do. They catch these small things. So I was really pleased with that. The other note down here, down at the bottom, is that Medicare has announced an 8.7%, what they call an ambulance inflation factor for 2023. This is the largest increase since 2009. The caveat of that will be if they continue the 3%, what they call the rural add-on in 2023. So we'll see if that passes on a federal level. If not, then we're basically looking at a 5.7% increase if they fail to pass that. So this comes up every time, and they usually wait till the absolute last minute before it gets passed. So we'll see. We'll cross our fingers, but you never know what they're going to do at a federal level. So not sure what order you guys get stuff, but I provided a couple of screenshots from messages. The first one, the one that's lighter from the Jamie individual, that is in regards to what Chief Bolos just talked about. So I've known Jamie. I don't have her contact information. I mean, I just see her on scenes through the years, but she went out of her way to send this to me through Facebook, talking about that call in particular and how well it was handled and how well it went. We only call the helicopters in for the worst of the worst, so they don't get the run-of-the-mill calls. They get the worst. They see the worst of the worst, and when they say, this was smooth, this was the best, easiest scene I've had in 3 years, that means a lot to me. I mean that because they get the worst. So I was really proud of everyone, my people, fire, the law enforcement, everybody jumped in that night. So it was really a group effort. So I wanted to pass that along. There was another one there in the darker that had been posted on Facebook. So much of the stuff that I get, I can't share. I can't come on TV. I can't go in front of you and tell you about any of this because there's so many privacy rules. But as soon as you post it on Facebook, I can share it. So when I get something like that, when they make a public address like this, I can share it with you and make sure you see it. That I know a lot of times we hear all the complaints, we hear the bad things, you see where you're spending money. This is why we spend the money. So I wanted to make sure that you guys did see those. My call statistic report looks a little different. I don't think it looks as nice as mine, but it probably is a little more accurate. I now have direct access to the Spillman system, which is the record system through dispatch, and it will make this pretty report for me, and I don't have to go through and put it into Excel and tell it to count all this different stuff. So I'm still learning. I know there is a prettier format that I found one time, but I can't find it again. So I'm learning. It's a process. So, but hopefully with our access to Spillman, we'll be able to get more and better information, do better reports across the board. Know when our busy times are, where we need to improve, et cetera, et cetera. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
For parks, I don't really have a report for you. I can tell you this, that we have 24 applications for a park superintendent, which I thought was very strong. I was surprised by that. So literally the next 2 days, every half hour, 2 days solid, I will be doing interviews. We're going to narrow that down to 5 people. And then I will pull some of the park board in. I'm going to do 2 to schedule interviews with those last 5 individuals so we can narrow it down to who we want to select for park superintendent. The park superintendent is an appointment of mine. I don't have to do that with the park board, but I am choosing to because they also have to work with the individual, and I want to get buy-in and input from everyone on the board. So that will be the process. If you're going to ask me when I'm going to have that done, my goal is to have someone in place by the first year. I need them tomorrow, but it's probably not going to happen that fast. So I'm being a little methodical about it, and I'll keep you up to date as we move forward with that process. One of the things you might not see is, I've had some people say, why are they not hanging lights up yet? I asked them to hold off to park, because some of the lights, they're just regular Christmas lights, and outlets outdoors always make me nervous. So we were able to get some commercial grade block so that they will be watertight. As soon as they come in, they will start hanging those lights. And also, they could not get hangers. For some reason, no one had hangers. They ordered them everywhere, so they finally was able to get some. So once everything comes in, they'll be hanging lights to park, but they're holding off for that. December 8th at the park, from 5 to 8, there will be a Christmas party in the park. If you'd like to come, please come be involved with that. There will be a lot of things happening that day. There will be a reindeer encounter. We'll have carriage rides, snacks, crafts. There will be caroling. And we'll have pictures with Santa and live stream.
Starting at 5 p.m.?
5 to 8.
Did I not say that? I thought I said 5 to 8.
Yeah, he said 5 to 8.
Okay.
I thought he did. I thought he did.
Pay attention, John. He was focused on the live stream, so I don't know how that's going to work. He's going to be doing pictures and live stream, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. So if you want to come out to that, I encourage you to bring the kids out and have some fun. And if you want to come help serve with that, there'll be plenty to do. Come out and help serve. So that's really how I have on the park for right now. I'll move on down to old business. Does anyone?
Question.
Yes.
If someone wants to volunteer to help, is there someone they can contact?
They can call City Hall. Dr. Diana, she'll get all scheduled.
All right.
Organized.
Give her the number, 825-4412.
You're so thorough, Rosemary.
Well, that way they don't call that
She
number.
doesn't want the phone calls.
Smart.
What's the update on the Longwood Bridge? Do you have any?
As far as what?
I mean,
They're,
how's the status going? I mean, that's the biggest
schedule-wise.
project we have going in the park, so.
Yep, I gotta, as soon as we're done here, I'll probably be about 3 before I get over there. I gotta meet with them. Apparently they've discovered something. I don't really know what it is, so we're gonna walk through the process. I think timeline, depending on what weather does, they're a little bit behind schedule, but they're still on schedule, so it's in the air completely. Kind of a neat process to go see that thing in the air, but they're already working on replacing all the beams and everything, and it's interesting just listening to them talk. When you talk to a bridge wright who truly understands how those things were built, it's just fascinating to see their process. And I used to build bridges, but they were steel bridges. For a wood structure, I'm completely lost, and just what I would think would work, they're like, oh no, that works on steel, but on wood, I'm like, okay. It's just a very fascinating process to watch, but they will be shutting down. I think today will be their last day for the holiday, then they'll be back. But I don't know what the issue is we have today, but I gotta go over and look at that. Anything else on that? Any other questions?
No, I'm asking you the question.
No, I'm just to make sure I get everything answered. If there's anything particular, just sitting down with them, getting a handle on it, and working with them very closely. So we got that. Second Street Park still moving forward. I got some contractors coming in, working diligently with the Second Street Park Committee. We're meeting very regularly, so everyone's on the same page, so we can get that project moving forward. So there's a lot going on at the park, yes. So that's why I need somebody, but at the same time, we're gonna get a handle on it before I just dump it all on them. Is there any old business? Miscellaneous business? Claims.
City claims is $166,347.56. Payroll, $463,069.68. Utilities, $259,315.15.
Make a motion to accept the claims.
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Actually, I did forget some stuff under miscellaneous business. I was skipped past my notes. I want to deviate a little bit. Don't forget, on December 2nd and 3rd, from 5 to 8 p.m., John, we'll also be having our historic Downtown Winterfest. This is exciting to see this happening downtown. If you've driven by where the Market Street Plaza is going to go, you can see they have an outdoor winter patio with fire pits and seating and lights, and it's just starting to really be beautiful down there. We've got banners up down Central Avenue on the light poles that say Winterfest. We've got them all decorated. You're going to have a winter sky art where you can take pictures. We've got reindeer games. There's going to be some live music, a window display competition, which we will be participating in. We have Santa and Mrs. Claus going to be there. We have food trucks that will be coming that day, carriage rides, antique and craft fair, downtown open houses like at the Canal House, Museum, Whitewater Valley Arts Association, the Railroad Depot, local shops and restaurants. There'll be candy canes and cocoa from the Fayette County Community Foundation, and there'll be a luminary display. So a lot is happening. We're trying to really revitalize our downtown, bring people to our downtown, to attract businesses downtown is our goal, and this is a huge step in the right direction. And so if you get a chance to come out to that, come out. It'll be a good event.
What day was that again?
It is December 2nd and 3rd from 5 to 8 p.m. And they've been running the winter patio now, so every time the train's running, I think they have fire going. I'm not sure what else they have out there, but fire and lights. It just looks really neat. So yes, there are food trucks there from the railroad station. That's correct. Market Street Plaza. This process has been going a little longer than I anticipated. I was hoping to have something moving now, but we've had some engineering issues with electrical and everything. We're trying to get it figured out, so it's kind of slowed it down a little bit. And then with the structure building, because it's going to be a prefab structure, there will be a pre-bid meeting December 6th right in my council chambers at 8:30, not council chambers, my meeting room right next to my office.
Conference room.
Conference room, couldn't spit it out. December 6th at 8:30. If you are a local contractor, this is for you, if you want to participate. One goal I have is to, when we do all these big projects, it's very frustrating we can't get local people to participate in because of the bonding requirements, and it's very hard for local people to do some of our jobs. When we were doing this, we presented the BOT model, which is a buy, operate, transfer model. In doing that, that allows local participation. So they will be running the project. So if you're a local person and you want to do a piece of the puzzle, not the whole thing, you can come look at that. If you want to do the entire project, you can do that as well. But I'm super excited to get local participation. If we don't get the local participation, then we will move it out a little bit. We've got some bigger contractors that come in and do it. But I really want local participation on this because it's community pride. It's a sense you can say, I participated in building that structure, and it also, the money we spend stays here in our community. So if you want to come be part of that, there's going to be everything from electrical work, concrete work, subsoil grade work, excavation. There'll be some masonry work. The contracting is not going to be necessarily, there will be some carpentry work, but a lot of it's going to be like a big jigsaw puzzle you really just put together. So there's going to be a lot of different things happening. So if you want to come be part of that, please. I'm hoping to be overwhelmed with local participation in this. That is the goal. So again, December 6th in my meeting room at 8:30, there will be a pre-bid meeting for all those interested who would like to participate. Another thing is Nick out there, or is he back on the street?
No, he must have left.
Okay. Our ordinance enforcer, Nick, came to me a while back and said, hey, we've got some areas that are just, they're hard to maintain. They don't look really good, even when we do maintain them. And I'd like to do something different with that. I was like, okay, what do you want to do? So he started researching a wildflower program, a pollinator program all at the same time. And so he met with the Fayette County Soil and Water and shared with his vision what he wanted to do with these areas that are just tough to maintain and they just don't look good either. And they helped develop a wildflower program, which is also a pollinator program. So you get flowers through spring all the way through fall. It looks really, really nice. In doing so, you also choke out the nasty weeds you don't want because the wildflowers get thick and they just keep the weeds out, and it looks beautiful. So they were awarded a grant from the foundation in combination with the Fayette County Soil and Water Program to do this program. So you might see some work this year, might be a little iffy. But next spring you'll see them out doing some tilling work and some spraying work to get these flowers in, and I'm just super excited about this program. It adds beautification to our city. More importantly, you have someone who took initiative on their own, an employee, had free reign to go do it and built this great program. So I'm excited to see this. Kudos to Nick and congratulations to him for getting this done. It was his vision. He took it. He ran with it. He got it done. So Nick, if you're out there somewhere, great job. I'm proud of you. Just keep doing a good job. That's what we like to see, is people take initiative on their own. And another thing is we received, the city and some businesses received a training grant from Eastern Indiana Works. Our training grant's going to go to EMS. And the other ones are some businesses going to do some training methods for management and for leadership. And one of them partnered with Ivy Tech. And this is a grant program that all businesses have an opportunity to apply for. Sadly, we don't get a lot of our local businesses who apply for this. I don't know why. We've been talking about it a lot. There's many opportunities there through Eastern Indiana Works. So we're trying to bring Eastern Indiana Works in more to be a resource for our local businesses. And these training grants are fantastic. So that's just one piece of puzzle. Eastern Indiana Works does a lot for our area businesses and employees. So if you're a local business, if you want to learn more about that, just get with us. I'll put you in contact with Eastern Indiana Works. But great job to the businesses that took advantage of this and was able to receive the grants from Eastern Indiana Works. Okay, sorry for the long rant. We've got a lot of good things are happening. A lot more to come. So just keep hanging tight. So. All right. So have we done claims? Did I do public forum?
Yep.
Okay. We'll move for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Have a wonderful day.